All right, guys. How you doing today? So, with all the stuff that's going on, LeBron going to the Lakers, DeMarcus Cousins going to the Warriors. Still don't know how to feel about that, but with all the stuff moving on that's happening, I want to touch on about something that was brought up in a couple of different shows on ESPN. First things first. Well, that was actually FS1, but whatever. Point I'm trying to make here is that it seems to me that people keep bringing up Jordan or LeBron. And in the few instances I heard, they brought up Kobe. And I was trying to figure out, like, all right, so they bring up just three guys. That's it. There's other great players in the NBA. There's a whole bunch of great players, number one people on the team, on like different teams throughout the eras. And I'm wondering why aren't they like mentioned, or why is anyone not considered the greatest player of all time? So I have wrote down a list, and I was wondering if I can make like a formula or something along those lines where we could figure out who is the greatest player of all time. So I have the criteria for this type of list, and it's important to make a criteria for this type of list so you're not Nick Wright and just spouting things off just statistics alone, because statistics, I mean, they matter, but it's not the end all be all thing. Like, people have great statistical nights and their team still lose. You could average a triple double and your team still lose like a lot of games. Also, so I'm gonna list the criteria first. So before I list the players, I'm gonna list the criteria so you know what I'm basing this information on. So you can say that, oh, it's reliable. Oh, it's not reliable. Oh, it's you could say like, oh, why would you count that, or anything like that. So what I'm basically doing is having several is it seven? Sorry, 8 different criteria for the greatest of all time. So here's the criteria. First off, like I said, stats. Everyone uses stats as an argument, so we're gonna put that in here, and we're gonna base the stats based on several different things: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. We're not gonna go field goal percentage because that can be easily skewed, especially if you're a center. Centers have the easiest time, so we're not gonna count field goal percentage. We're counting the 5 basic stats: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. Next, eye test. Now, people want to ask, well, what's an eye test? Well, you just poke people in the eye or something, make sure their eyes see. No, eye test is basically watching them play and see at the ease of how their game is there any kinks in their game that you can visibly see? Granted, the older players are going to have a disadvantage in this category because, one, there's not a lot of film of them, and two, for the film that we do have, the skills aren't as like now where people are just doing behind the back crossovers, like it's basically nothing. So older players will probably have a disadvantage at that. However, it's also based on movement and their basketball IQ that you can see on the court, like what they're doing. Are they making the right passes? Are they shooting efficient? Are they shooting? There's a shot to look like they're shooting efficiently. Next, main criticisms. Now, each player has some sort of main criticism about them. And I think this is where the older players would have the advantage, because unlike LeBron or Kevin Durant or even Kobe to an extent, like they played in the age of social media. So there's a lot of criticism going on, flying around. But back in like Bill Russell or Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, while there was criticism, it wasn't, you had to read the newspaper for it. You couldn't, couldn't base it. Like the criticism came at a slower pace, so it was less of it. So they have an advantage when it comes to that. Next one, accomplishments. So accomplishments are not just rings. Rings are an important accomplishment, don't get me wrong. But like I said about stats, it's not the end-all, be-all thing. Because you can have MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year awards, Six Man of the Year, Rookie of the Year, blah, 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 blah. So now this is also Rookie of the Years, and some of the awards are also put the older players at a disadvantage because they weren't Rookie of the Years or Six Man of the Years or anything like that back in 60s and 70s. So again, the older players may have a disadvantage, but in some cases they may not have a disadvantage. So we'll get to that too. Failures. Every player has had failed at some point. And to combine with failures, it's situations. There are two separate categories, but you can fuse them together, which will make, sorry, one of my friends was trying to connect to the stream. I'm typing something in the chat real quick before I continue this. And like I said, failures in situations always should matter, because like we'll take LeBron, for instance. It's going to be mentioned when it comes up to that particular part. LeBron's been on shitty teams. Like he has been on some shitty teams. Like for his first 7 years as a player, he's on a shitty team. And that will matter. And that will matter when certain things like this come up. I'm gonna see if I can get someone to we'll see if I can message Dom 2K so you can see if he can wow, that's sorry guys, this will just take 1 second. I'm trying to see. Okay, cool. So that happened. All right. So, like I said, failing situations, they go hand in hand together. They probably will be fused. So you can make it 7 then. But those things do kind of matter in the long run to say why people are the greatest of all time and why they're not. Clutch moments. This is a big factor. Like, I feel like Stephen A and Skip Bayless kind of harp on this too much when it comes to the greatest of all time, but I can see why they use it because it's a very good. Sometimes it's a good measure of, oh, if your team's down by 1, do you want to give this person the basketball at the end of the game? And mentality. Mentality is basically how you think in a situation where, where they, sorry, I'm blanking on mentality. Ironic, isn't it? But mentality is basically like how you think in a situation. How do you react in like different type of play or game, or, oh, I go hard all the time because I have to, or let me just pass the ball a couple of times. So there you go. So this is how I broke down the players who are going to be included in this discussion. 1, you always had to be the best player in the team. So I'm sorry, Scottie Pippen, you were at one point that there was at no point you were the best player on any team. So you don't count. I had put Dwayne Wade on this list originally, but I'm like, he, like, during the LeBron repeat, the two-peat, I should say, LeBron was the best player. And then during the Miami Heat's 1 championship without LeBron, you could argue that Shaq was the best player. So I may just cross him out. There are some names on this list that's going to trigger people. And that was my intention, to trigger you, to see how you would react. But yeah, you'll know when you see it. Second, I based it on rings. You have to have at least 2 or more rings to be considered in the greatest of all time discussion, because that means you at least have a consistent basis for winning. So my honorable mentions. So before I even get started in that, Dr. J, you should be an honorable mention. You are a pioneer of dunking, dunk contests, all that type of stuff. So you get an honorable mention. Dirk Nowitzki, he should be on this list, but he hasn't won 2. He only won 1. So Oscar Robertson, again, Kareem, it's arguable that Kareem was the best player on that team. That Kareem's only championship that wasn't with the Lakers, and he could have been this. Bernard King, Bill Walton. Bill Walton won the championship with the Blazers. Bernard King won one with the Knicks. So 1, but that's it. Walt Frazier, obviously. You could also say I had there's others on this list, but I didn't think about writing them at all. So we'll start off with 6 or more rings. These are the people that are considered to be the greatest of all time based on their accomplishments alone. So Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Lou Alcindor when he played for the Bucks, and Bill Russell. Bill Russell has 12 rings. In between him coaching and playing, he was a player coach. He counts. This isn't sponsored by anything, but I just love Powerade. Right. Now the 5-ring group. Magic Johnson, arguably the best point guard ever. Tim Duncan, my favorite player. And Kobe Bryant, one of the most copycat shooting guards ever. Now, before anyone says anything, no, I'm not biased for Michael Jordan. No, I'm not biased for LeBron James. I'm a Tim Duncan fan. Okay? I'm a Tim Duncan fan. I followed his career ever since Wake Forest. And if anyone I would be biased to this argument to, it would be Tim. But we'll discuss that later. 4 rings. Shaq was the only one I could find as a starting as the best player on his team that has 4 rings. I found that odd, but then again, Golden State hasn't won 4 rings. They've only won 3. That would have been Steph Curry. Yeah. 3 rings. LeBron James, obviously. Like, there's no greatest of all time conversation without him being in there, and he still has time left. Like, all the players I mentioned before LeBron James, their career is done. Their cement is dry, as Stephen A. always likes to say, or Shannon Sharpe always says. LeBron James is still going. He still has at least a good 5 years left in him. Larry Bird, of course, Celtics. Stephen Curry. And that's the thing that's going to trigger people. People want to say, Steph Curry's not the greatest of all time. He's only 29, 30 years old. He can't be on this list, blah, blah. He's won 3 championships. And you could arguably say on 2 of the teams, even though he didn't win finals MVP, he was still the best player on those teams. I'm just saying it could. But let's get to the 2-ring category, because the 2-ring category is also going to trigger. 2, Isaiah Thomas, the best point guard. The best point guard that Detroit Pistons ever had. Chauncey Billups and Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, won them back-to-back. Go figure. Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West. They both played on the same team, so you could argue that one of them was the best player, but for a long time on his team, he was the best player. And he was arguably, I'm talking about Wilt Chamberlain. He was on the Warriors, and he was arguably the best player on that team. He was the best player in the team and in the league. And Kevin Durant. That's the second name that's going to trigger people. Are you triggered? If you're not triggered yet, I don't know what to tell you. I don't. But yeah, let's get started. So let's go. I'm gonna scroll to. We're gonna start with statistics since everyone likes statistics. Let's start with points. All-time leader in points. And I think they're going to scroll all the way down through the I think this is going to so this is going to go all the way down to number 50 in points scored. All right. So, number 1 on the list, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He has the most points. He holds the record for most points in a game. Next is Kobe Bryant. He has 33,000 points. Sorry, Kareem has 38,000 points. He's just over that. He's over that by a decent amount. Then Kobe Bryant has 33,643 points. Then right below him is Michael Jordan with 32,000 points. Wilt Chamberlain's directly under him with 31,000 points. LeBron James has 31,000 points, and he's still an active player, which means he'll still get more by the time he's out. People are estimating that he will catch Kareem, and I'm not gonna lie, I think he probably will do that. He's probably going to catch Kareem. Like there's no way he doesn't catch Kareem unless he gets injured. I think that's the only way he doesn't catch Kareem is if he gets injured. I think next year he'll probably get like maybe 4,000 points, maybe. Especially if he has to take over when the team's trash. Shaquille O'Neal, under him, 28,000 points. Hakeem Olajuwon has 26,000 points. Tim Duncan, 26,496 points. Let's see, next to him is Jerry West, 25,000 points. Mind you, I'm looking on the regular list. So the regular list, this is the regular list. There's no top 50. Larry Bird is next, 21,000 points. Kevin Durant is 20,913 points. Let's see, anyone else on this list? Nope, that's it. Top 50. This is the top 50 part. I'm not going to go through 100. So some people will probably already have I think people are trying to actually connect with me on my thing. Hold on, I need to get to my my channel page. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. So for right now, and we will say for right now, because some of these people haven't, like, excuse me, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant haven't finished their careers yet. But if their careers ended like right now, Kareem has the points lead. But remember, it's not just points. All right. Now let's go to assists because of if you're a better, well-rounded player, then you should get this no problem. All right, so the next thing I think I'm going to cover. Okay, good. All-time leaders in assists. Here we go. Assists. So let's take a look. Magic Johnson leads this category, and I'm not surprised that he leads this category because he should. It's Magic Johnson. But even then, he's at number 5. So go figure. All right, so he has 10,141 assists. Isaiah Thomas is next with 9,061 assists. Keep going down. LeBron James is 11th with 8,208 assists, and he can still go. You'll keep scrolling down. See, this is where the centers have the least advantage because they don't really pass. Kobe Bryant is 30th on this list. He has 6,306 assists. Kobe Bryant, the man that people said is the most stingiest man in the world when it comes to passing, he has 6,000 assists. He's in the top 50 for assists, which is funny. It's really funny because people consider him not being that good at passing, and this just proves it. Proves my point. It proves my point that I'm saying a lot. Kobe isn't as selfish as people come out to be. I just like making those jokes. I'm just saying, the jokes are funny. All right. Jerry West is next, and he has 6,238 assists. We keep going down. Top 50, Larry Bird is 41st with 5,695 assists. And look, there's Kareem. Kareem's right below Larry Bird with 5,660 assists. And then Michael Jordan, 5,633 assists. And then that's it. Well, that's everyone else in the top 50. So everyone else isn't on the assist leaders board. All right. So he's the greatest when it comes to assists. And now we're looking at steals. So this is one of the defensive ratings. I was going to do defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds. That'd take too long. So we're just going to do rebounds, pure rebounds. Michael Jordan, no surprise, is at the top of the steals list. He has 2,514 steals. And then down below him is Akeem Olajuwon with 2,162 steals. And we just keep scrolling down. Kobe Bryant's 15th on this list with 1,944 steals. And then LeBron's right below him with 1,865 steals. This is gonna, for him, it's probably gonna take a while to get those because he doesn't actively play defense like that anymore. But he can catch him. He can catch the leader if he plays defense a lot more. Then Isaiah Thomas is 4 steals behind him. Then Magic Johnson is next with 1,724 steals. You go down. We'll continue to go down because I'm not seeing anybody else. Larry Bird is next, and he has 1,556 steals. And yeah, that's it. That's all the people who have steals. If people want the links to these channels, like I can put them down. I can put them in the say something part, and you guys can look this up for yourself to show you that I'm not making none of these numbers up, if that's what you want. But right now, it seems like Michael Jordan's on 3 of the 4, the 3 of the lists that I've already said. LeBron James is on 3 of the list. Larry Bird's on 3 of the list. Durant's on 2. Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West are both on 2. Oh, sorry. They're on 1. Wilt Chamberlain's on 1. Jerry West is on 2. Tim Duncan's on 1. Kobe Bryant's on all 3. Kareem's on 2. Hakeem's on 3 of them. Yeah, so it seems as if it seems to me that so far it looks like Michael, Kareem, LeBron, Magic, and Kobe and Larry are all on these lists. And Hakeem's on this list too, because Hakeem had assists. It was like 42nd in assists or something. So far, those are the stats. Now this one is rebounds. Well, we finally get Bill Russell, because Bill Russell wasn't on the points one. But then again, Bill Russell was a defensive player. So here he was. And apparently, I guess during the 60s and early 70s, they weren't counting steals and blocks. That's probably also why he wasn't on there. Like I said, the older players have a disadvantage because some of them aren't going to have those stats. But rebounding, Wilt Chamberlain's number 1. I figured that was going to happen. Bill Russell number 2, and Kareem's number 3. So all the big centers are going to have an advantage in this category. Tim Duncan's number 6. And we keep scrolling down. Hakeem's number 13. It's 13,000s. And like there's a gap between the top 3 and then Tim, and then there's a huge gap between Tim and Hakeem, which is funny. And then Shaq has 13,000. You scroll all the way down, you keep going down, still going down. Oh Lord. Elgin Baylor, that was the other guy who I should have put in my honorable mentions. Oh Lord. Scrolling all the way down. And that's it. That's all the rebounders. So Michael Jordan finally missed one. So did Kobe. So did LeBron. LeBron missed this one too. He's not even in the top 50 yet. Next up, the last category is blocks. Again, the big men have advantage in this category. However, people like Wilt and Bill Russell aren't going to have those block stats, so they may not be up here. So I could give him a pass. I could see Wilt probably getting up there with Hakeem, but for blocks, Hakeem has the lead with 3,800. Next is Kareem in this list, and then Tim Duncan's right behind him at number 5. Kareem's number 3, but Tim's number 5, but the numbers are basically separated by like 100. Then Shaq's number 8. I'm actually surprised by that. Shaq, he didn't seem like a rim protector to me, but when I saw him play, he seemed more just like an offensive powerhouse. But I guess because I just wasn't paying attention to his defense too often, I was trying to pay attention to the other person would score. That's probably why. So then we keep going down. After Shaquille, right now, I'm not seeing anyone on my list. Oh wow, Serge Ibaka's on this list. Jesus, didn't think he was that high. He is a shot blocker, but still. And that's it. So again, the big men have the advantage in this category. So again, we looked at the stats. Jordan was on two or three of them. Kareem was on all five, and Hakeem was on all five. So LeBron was only on three. Magic was only on three. Tim was on four because he wasn't on the assist one. That was the only one Tim wasn't on. Steph wasn't on any of them. Kevin Durant was on one of them. Isaiah was on three of them. Wilt was on two of them. And Bird and Dwayne Wade. It's just, so now you have to take a look at this and say, well, based on the stats alone, since Kareem was in all five and Hakeem was in all five, based on just those particular stats, you could say that those two are the greatest of all time if you just did stats alone. However, that's not something we do here. We're not just going to stats, because there's other stats you can do, like efficiency rating, which is something that the older players past like before 1999 didn't have. Like certain little newer stats that like the new guys, the new stat guys do, which isn't totally fair to the older guys. But again, people keep saying like, oh, stats matter. Like stats are the main thing. That's the only thing that should matter. So we should wipe out this and should wipe out that. So if you're basing it on stats, then Kareem obviously has the advantage. Kareem has a clear advantage over everyone else. Hakeem, top 50 in points, top 50 in assists. It was actually pretty high for a rebounder to have an assist like that, like a center to have that type of assist. But we're seeing it more nowadays with how people play. So maybe somebody like Boogie Cousins or Anthony Davis, they're going to eclipse Hakeem in assists for a big guy. So that's all that is. I guess I can do a series of these because this is 33 minutes. I didn't realize how long this was. But I guess I can do a series of these and show you. I mean, I was going to do anyway. I had part one on here for some reason. But we can get to that and as soon as I'll get to the second part as soon as I can. The next one we're going to do is eye test. And people are going to say, well, how did you see Bill Russell play? You're not that old. You were born in 1990. How could you see? Because it's old film. It's very, very old film. And I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch some of those. I've seen Michael Jordan play. I've seen Tim Duncan play. Half of this list I've seen play. The only people I haven't seen play, or at least seen film of, would probably be Bill, Chamberlain, and Jerry West. They're the only people I haven't seen film of to play, but that won't be an issue. So right now, it's Kareem has won the stat one. Kareem has won like the stats. So let's actually write that down. Kareem stats. All right. So Kareem won stats. Let's see what other people win according to the eye test. This is Alvin 1777 signing out, and stay tuned because we're going to have some more content for you.